Hey guys, Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. Another week goes past and we're up to episode 81 of the Emergency Storage Shed Cleanout series. We're working on trying to get those racks out in the middle of the room. We had a bit of an effort last week getting stuff out from underneath. I think this week though we need to go back up to the top and work our way down. It makes a lot more sense. Yeah, I was going to continue under here, but one thing's connected to another. I think that blue bucket's resting on the edge of that broken box, and there's something on top of the blue bucket, and there's something on top of that. And rather than have a landslide of mystery boxes, possibly with some breakables in them, who knows, let's just go back up to the top. We need to get the stuff off the top section of this middle rack, and then we can move that out. And once we get that out, oh, there's a box under there too. I think that's got some old power tools, and there's a very small gas bottle there. Once we get that top rack out, we can then access that other stuff behind it and work our way down to the bottom to free up some more concrete in this shed. So what do we got up here? Well, we've got some vintage computer stuff that I put in tubs. These were in my shipping container behind my shop for a while. Purchased 2019, so they haven't been in storage that long. And I only put them aside because it was just vintage computer stuff. It wasn't really worth a lot, and it probably still isn't. Sometimes if you keep something for long enough, it does appreciate in value. Some floppy disks I can see in there. There may even be an Ericsson mobile phone, a vintage one. We really need to deal with that. I'm going to resist the urge to duck shove those boxes somewhere else and get into the tubs and things behind it. But one of my lessons on cleaning up is dealing with everything as you come to it. Make decisions. Don't cherry pick. So it looks like we have to do those boxes first. Hopefully they won't take long. And hopefully we can make some quick decisions. That's what this series is mostly about, is how to sort stuff, what to do with stuff, how not to just throw it all in the skip and move on. We want to get as best value as we can without wasting too much time. So let's go through these tubs and work out what we're going to do with them. So I honestly don't remember what was in them, and these tubs will be handy if we can empty them. Better adjust the camera a bit. That's better. And this one does look to be an Ericsson mobile phone, a GA628. These ones mobile phones have become collectible very quickly. They don't actually have to be all that old to have a bit of a collectible market. So here we go. This one's with its original box, as you saw, a charger. The phone looks in reasonable condition. There's even a book for it. I'll have to check eBay to see what they're selling for. I have put a selection of little handheld phones in the shop. When I say handheld, I mean all mobiles are handheld, but they went through an era of, they went from large bricks in a bag to getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and the next generation after this was almost like a little thing you'd put on your key ring of your car. It was looked like a piece of Lego. And then, of course, now they're getting bigger and bigger. So it was an interesting era for mobile phones. Not usable because the networks they operate don't exist anymore. At least that's to the best of my knowledge. But it's going to have some sort of value as a collectible. So we'll check eBay and see what sort of money we can get for that. I was about to say I did have a range of them a couple of years ago in the shop, just at $5 each in a box, thinking, I don't know if they'll sell or not. They all sold. So there you go. Maybe I did myself out of a bit of money there. Anyway, that was easy. Tub's empty there. We'll check that one shortly. This one has computer stuff. We have some mice. Genius. It's probably a aftermarket type one or a generic type mouse. That one's a Viewmaster. They are corded mice. They've got the trackball in there, so they're getting back a bit. Certainly look a bit of old school style, and people now collect the beige computers, often want the right era mice to go with them. I don't know if they'll get much. Again, I'll check eBay on those. Is that an empty box? Oh, that's a Artec mouse. That's an earlier one again, but it's just a box, I think. Still, sometimes people buy the boxes. Oh, there's a book in there. Oh, it's a disc. It's a 5 1/4 floppy disk, presumably with the drivers for the mouse. So that may well have some value. I don't know what happened to the mouse. Oh, incidentally, this one of them had a, a PS2 plug, I think. And this one's got the serial plug. So they certainly would suit vintage computers. We'll check this box and floppy as well in a second. What else do we have here? We have a booklet for a mouse. Not sure if that goes with one of the ones we've got. We'll check that out. And also another floppy drive. So that may well have some value. We'll check it out. And then we have some Microsoft books. We've got one on MS-DOS, user guide and user's reference, and GW-Basic. I'm not actually even sure what that's for. So they're in great condition. They're probably in 1990 something. Let's have a look, see if there's a date in them. Operating system version 3.3. Copyright 1987, so that is getting back a bit. All right. Again, we'll have to check eBay to see if it has any sort of value. If I can't find them on eBay, it's probably a good sign. If I can find them and they're not really selling for much, I'll probably put them in the shop at $5 each. So we'll move that empty tub out of the road. The last tub, looks like I think we just have some more books. WordPerfect, workbook reference, and I'm not sure what the other book, oh, actually that actually might have the software in it. How do we open this? There we go, 5 1/4 floppy disks on WordPerfect. So that's cool. Installation programs, that should have some value surely. We'll check all that out. Okay, I'll get back to you shortly and we'll have some rough prices for this stuff. We'll have plenty of time to get something else out of that shed. And just like that, I'm back. I have run a few eBay searches and Google searches, and just to get an idea. I don't always find the exact item, but you can usually get a fairly accurate idea on what stuff's worth. These Artec mice don't bring a lot. There was quite a lot of these, even the, the mice or the mouse in good condition. So look, I didn't see any other 5 1/4 floppy drivers for them or anything on there, but I'm just going to put $5 on that, the box and the disc. The WordPerfect set, there was a lot of these on there and they didn't actually sell for a great deal. It's, I think, 1991 or something. The book was dated a bit earlier, but there are quite a lot. Some sold for pretty good money, but it just wasn't a common occurrence, and some didn't sell at all. Obviously, postage is an issue. I'm just going to go $20 on that set. Some vintage computer guy will probably love that to load onto his vintage computer. These books did sell sometimes for a reasonable amount, but quite often not for anything. Again, I'm going to put $10 each on them, because if someone's in the shop, $10 is not so bad. It's only a couple of coffees really value-wise, and they don't have to pay postage. So we'll see how we go there. These mice do sell okay. There's always people looking for mice around about this era. So I've just gone $10 each on those. They are in great condition cosmetically. There's no issues there. I went $5 on this whole group of mouse paraphernalia. There's 2 different discs there. None of that suits those from what I can work out. So $5 on that lot. We'll see how we go there. And the mobile phone, well, the box is in beautiful condition. Anyone that wanted a really nice example for a collection would love the box, I'm sure. The phone itself is in undamaged condition as well. The charger does work. However, I couldn't get any life onto the screen of the phone. So whether the battery just is no good at all and won't even accept charge, I don't know. But I did test the charger and it does work. And it's got a very unusual plug on it. So the charger alone should be probably sought after if someone's got one of these Ericsson phones. The book looks as new. I'm just going to put $20 on that set because, again, there was a lot of those phones online for sale. Most of them didn't sell. So obviously it's not a rare model. Brings us to a total of $90. I think quite achievable through the shop. If I was asked these prices online, I might struggle because they have to be posted as well. But I think I've got a good chance of getting those prices, or at least close, through the shop over time. If anyone watching is interested in maybe a bulk deal or something, by all means send me a message. I don't mind posting this sort of stuff out. Books are pretty easy to package. So there's an option for anyone that might be into the vintage stuff. And, this computer gear doesn't seem very old to some of us, but it's certainly into the realms of vintage now and collectible. So anyway, I don't want it anymore. It has to go. With that stuff off the top, do we go further along the top? We probably should. However, let's clean out just that gas bottle. And that box is, I think there's only a few power tools in that box. They'll be quick to do, and we do need to clean up that section to be able to get that frame off the top. And next week we will certainly delve into those tubs and boxes. The milk crate there looks to have some very old timber in it. I think it was a part of an old timber trunk, or like a glory chest, very early one, but the timber's very weathered. I've only kept it, I think, possibly to recycle the timber. Not sure what's in those other ones, so we'll get up to there next week. Let's just get, well, we can reach this gas bottle now. And I get a lot of gas bottles out of sheds. Oh, it doesn't fit out there. We can probably take this off. It only sits there. And we can have a look in that back one. It looks like there's a sander or something. A couple of rags, I'm not sure. Let's get this gas bottle out of here. I get a lot of gas bottles out of sheds. They're either barbecue ones or something like that. This one feels near full. It's very old, very rusty. The cylinder's certainly not safe to have refilled, but it's got gas in it, and I possibly will use that in the workshop, so I will hang on to that for now. I've got a few floating around that I have a pretty good gas supply. Whether I buy a furnace for smelting metal, or whether I use it with a blowtorch or something, I'm sure I'll use the gas at some stage. I could probably even hook it up to my barbecue. So I'll put that one aside for now. And we'll slide that back, and we'll drag this box out of here. And it's fairly heavy. What's in here? Oh, we have a few power tools. Looks like a jigsaw. A Skil. Pretty dirty old jigsaw with a bonus tent peg. This one is a drill. It looks probably, oh, it's Ozito, so it's a cheaper brand. I think they were sold through Bunnings. Probably not that old, but it looks good enough to possibly resell. It might have been at a garage sale by the look of that. What did they have on it? $20. We'll check that one out. And the other one in here is extremely heavy. It's a circular saw, quite an old one. Oh, that's really heavy. It's a metal construction. It's a Black & Decker. So it's a heavy old Black & Decker. May have some collectability. It certainly will be not that suitable for someone that just wants to use a circular saw. Let's get them in on the bench and have a better look. So whoever had that garage sale, they put $20 on everything. It's a bit hard to read them, but they all say $20. And obviously they didn't sell. I certainly wouldn't have bought these at a garage sale. I probably ended up cleaning out some guy's shed and they were left over. What are we going to do? Well, they're not worth very much for scrap. Even this one, being all cast aluminium and a good solid electric motor, it's worth something for scrap, but I think we can get better for it just as a collectible old circular saw. Not going to be worth a great deal. I'm just going to start the air compressor up and blow all the dust off it, present it a little bit nicer. I think we'll just put $10 on it. We should be able to get that, and I don't think it's worth that for scrap. This one, I'll check it. If it runs fine, I might even hang on to it here as just a rough, a drill for rough jobs, one that I don't care about. I did have a similar one. In fact, I think it was an Ozito as well that did a lot of rough work around here until it eventually blew up. So I may as well use this one as a replacement for that one, and this will be to save using my good drill on all those dirty garden jobs and things that, you just want to drill to do a job and you're not going to be very gentle with it. So assuming it works all right, I'll hang on to that one. Cleaned up, I'd probably only ask $10 for it anyway. It does have a keyless chuck. It's a bit more modern. It's got the insulation on the pins of the plug. So, all right, we'll clean that up and give it a test. The old Skil jigsaw looks absolutely awful in the state it's in. I'm going to just give it a quick clean up. It is rusty on the blade. It hasn't been used for a long time. I'll make sure the cord's safe. I'll plug it into my appliance tester. I'm probably just going to ask, oh look, if it runs nicely, we might get $10 for it, depending on how well it cleans up. Maybe even $5. Worth hardly anything for scrap. One small electric motor that would take time to pull out, and the rest of it's plastic, and the cord, of course. But we'll give it a quick clean up. We'll sell that through the shop fairly cheaply to move it on, and hopefully we can find a collector for that one. But there's a big length of time between something that's fairly modern and not worth anything 20 years ago, probably 30 years ago, still not worth much secondhand. Once you get it back 40, 50 years ago, This is probably 1950s, so it could be pushing 70 years old. It's going to start having a certain type of person that's going to want to save it as part of history. It'd probably never be worth a great deal. There's probably still a lot of them in people's sheds, but it is pushing into that area of collectability and some value as a oh, not really a museum piece, but you know what I mean, as a collectible item. So this one's right in the middle of the low value, not worth much, but if it works all right, someone will use it for just a cheapie to do some rough work, a bit similar to what I'm going to use this drill for. Okay, let's finish this video up with a quick test through my appliance tester, just to make sure they're all safe. That one's double insulated. And they've cleaned up okay. It's not bad. There's no damage to it. The cord's okay. It looks okay on the tester. Oh, it hasn't been used for a long time. I think it's going to be all right. Yeah, it's got a fair bit of torque. I think it's just the grease is probably a bit dry, but it'll do for just a basic drill around the place. Yeah, sounds all right. I think it's a variable speed one as too. It is a variable speed. That's better. She sounds good. So I'll use that one. The Skil jigsaw cleaned up much better than I expected. I think it might have been sitting in a box with something else that was very messy. It might have had oil spilled on it or something, but it actually isn't that rusty. Even the blade looks quite rusty before. Cleaned up pretty good. Again, the cord's okay, so let's plug it in the tester and see if that one works. We have a switch here. Oh, let's turn that on. That actually feels very good. It's probably much better quality than what you'd buy these days. Yeah, I'm going to put $10 on that. It should sell quick. Tests out okay, so that's good. I can put a test and tag on that, and I'll easily get my $10, I'm sure. Now, should we plug this one in? We might fill the shed with smoke. The cord's okay. The plug's all right. It's a replacement plug, but it looks okay. It will need an earth on it, this one. It's not double insulated. I'll plug it in. We'll get a good earth on here somewhere. Now there's no blade on it. So let's power it up first. And the earth's good, so that's fine. Let's see if it actually works. Wow, that actually sounds much better than a new one, although it probably makes a slightly different sound not having a blade on it. But that motor feels very powerful. It passes a test. I think we'll probably go $20 on that. I still don't expect anyone to buy it to actually use, but it feels like the motor's in very good condition, runs nicely. Bearings aren't noisy, feels like it's got plenty of power. It would be very cumbersome to use because it's super heavy, but that's okay. We'll try it for $20. Actually, I just noticed a couple of nicks to the cord, and it probably will be the old rubber-coated wiring. So I think I'll mark it as unsafe. I'll put an unsafe test and tag on it just to cover myself, but I'll point out on the actual price tag that it does work, but it needs a new cord, just to cover me and any future operator. We've got to keep safety in mind. But as far as a collectible goes, well, someone might like to keep the original cord. If you're not going to use it, well, it doesn't really matter. I think we'll go 20. So if we add those to the notepad, $10 and $20 brings our total to $120 for this little exercise, this week's episode. I don't know if I'm going to get 20 for that or not. There is one on eBay at the moment starting at 99 cents, and it has got a bid. I don't remember if it goes or not, but clearly some people want it because it had nearly cost $20 to post. Anyway, we'll see how we go. We'll throw these into the shop on Friday when I'm open next, along with all the other computer stuff we went through. Oh, and of course, we have a tent peg, which we'll keep here because we use these for pinning down our gardening irrigation system. So that will be useful as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Another episode finished. I really do need to get rid of all that junk behind me so it's easier to get stuff into the workbench. As I said previously, I've got some lawnmowers to repair and a few other things, and I just physically can't get them in. Once our farm trips ease up and we're nearly finished the Great Farm cleanup, I'll spend a lot more time in the shed, get a lot more here sorted so I have decent work areas, and we'll still peg away at that emergency storage shed, and we'll get there eventually if we all live that long. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.